Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's me, Sonic, WWE 318, back again for another video for you guys. And today, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for your WWE Summerslam 2023 review. Yep, the biggest party event of the summer has finally left its toll out of the Motor City of Detroit and finally has gotten off to a finish. Obviously, once enough as we come here to give you guys my review of another, once again, of SummerSlam 2023. Huzzah! So we are not going to obviously wait because we got quite a bit of plate to to not nibble on here, so to speak. Because obviously, spoiler alert, some of these matches I got some pretty lengthy thoughts, to say the least, at least in regards to my notes. So with this said, I am not going to keep us too long. This intro is going to be coming right short, as we're going to get right into it. As we jump on right to the show with none other opening the show, which we opened off with none other than Ricochet taking on Logan Paul. My prediction for this match was for Ricochet to win this match, as he in fact lost this match. So my score goes to start the show off with none other than a 0 to 1 star on the show. And my thoughts of this match was, while not as great as anticipated, this match did in fact open the show off on a decent note. Each man truly came to play, showing plenty of momentum within the repertoire. Even though there wasn't much of a viral moment, quote unquote, within it all, as much as the build to this match made it seem to be that there would be one, to be honest. Regardless, though, match again was a fun one to watch as it opened up the show on a solid once again note to see what else is to come out of it all. So, with this said, we move on from that show opening up, the card, but not other than we go on to the supposed first of the three triple threat main events that quote unquote the show apparently gave us, as we had Cody Rhodes taking on Brock Lesnar. My prediction for this match was for Cody Rhodes to win this match, and he in fact did so, as we see obviously the American Nightmare having his hand raised by the Beast Incarnate Brock Lesnar himself after the supposed face kind of buddy moment at the end of after their match. Huzzah. Anywho's, moving on from that, my score heading out of this win tied up my score after this match with a 1 win and 1 lose score so far after this matchup. And my thoughts of this match was definitely a way to end a feud off on in style, as this match most certainly was the best one out of the bunch, to say the least. Match just had about everything going for it than the other two had, in my opinion, or from what I remember out of them, to be honest. Just overall seemed to be enjoyable for what was offered here for these two, or from these two rather, I should say, going off my notes, sorry about that. Granted, it was kind of off-putting how Rhodes should have gotten disqualified off of using the steel steps on Brock the way he did, but oh well, that's passable, I suppose. Not to mention how Lesnar's shorts just kind of ripped out of nowhere as the match came to a close, and that we've just now kind of gotten a possible glimpse as to the reasoning behind this feud just being behind of a, show of respect and truly earning that respect and being the man to, overcome, the beast and actually, show yourself, pretty much in Lesnar's position, say, hey, Cody, you want to be the man in this business. You want to be the big guy in this business. Oh, you want to be the highlight of this, supposed roster, so to speak. You guys had to go through me and actually show that you earn your keep and actually earn your respect. That kind of shit. So yeah, but anywho's, so obviously with that said, so more or less, like I said before, just this feud, coming up, being a reason, like I said before, of a way of showing respect and kind of, earning that keep and respect in the eyes of Brock, with that, once again, that post-match handshake and celebration by both men, because how else would you explain what that happening, and happening out of nowhere, to be honest, guys, because what the heck. In either case, though, match itself was decent enough, and just glad that it seems that we finally put this feud to rest in a respectful way, seeing Cody overtake Lesnar, and Lesnar being satisfied with that result and at the end of things overall, guys, to say the least, heading out of this match. So, heading out of this match and jumping over the supposed, Slim Jim SummerSlam Battle Royale, which pretty much seen, the one and only LA Knight winning it, because obviously, going into my predictions, obviously enough, I was going to say, I had no idea what was going on in this match. I had no idea who was going to be in this match and who could have win this match. But the more and more I thought about it off camera and off mic rather, I thought to myself, more likely than not, everyone's going for LA Knight, because obviously, who won it? And surely enough, all our thoughts and predictions were coming to light. It actually came to actually become true once again, as LA Knight supposedly, well, not supposedly, because obviously you sure as hell seeing on screen now, as he got Sting won the match, so blah. LA Knight won the match, so obviously there's that. So there's that kind of, there's that supposed, your big pop of LA Knight winning his match in the Battle Royale. So huzzah, there's that. There's LA Knight's time on my video, so huzzah. LA Knight, yeah. So moving on from that, and actually enough, guys, I kind of, I'm kind of sorry. I should kind of, I'm kind of streaking myself back to the Cody Rhodes thing for a moment, guys. I want to say I kind of want to apologize for what I mentioned in my prediction video, because I supposedly thought that the supposed Peacock WWE Cody Rhodes documentary was actually in production and not actually being, released. Because, I obviously thought it was actually being worked on and just, being done now and not, already being out as we speak. So, I just want to say this right now. I do apologize for actually not knowing that, actually coming out like a blabbering fool in my predictions, and, speaking my mind off of myself like that, thinking about that mindset heading into my predictions. So, once again, I kind of want to apologize for that. But once again, guys, that was my bad. And obviously enough, whoopsies. So, moving on from that, though, we are jumping back right up to the card, as we should be with my review here, as we have none other than Ronda Rousey taking on Shayna Baszler in an MMA rules matchup. My prediction for this match was for Shayna Baszler to win, but could see Ronda win in the event that her WWE run isn't exactly at its end, as it's been more than highlighted behind the scenes and within word of mouth in terms of news as of late heading into this match, obviously enough. But overall, though, that supposedly seems to be kind of potentially true, but don't quote me on that as of enough, because obviously what we have actually right now is that obviously enough that Shayna Baszler did in fact won this match, regardless of what in fact is Ronda's future or whatever's going on with Ronda, whether she's actually done with the business or not. Shayna Baszler in fact won this match via pass out, mind you. And this makes my prediction score a 2-1 score after this matchup. And my thoughts of this match was, don't really got much to say on this match other than these two went out to the ring, had a bit of a sparring match, throwing all kinds of kicks, punches, and submission moves on one another up until the end, till the end when Ronda just couldn't get back onto the grind of things for herself to ultimately pass out to Baszler, to say the least, guys. Not to say that this moment was at least entertaining, though, but just nothing really to truly leave a mark on my enjoyment of the show so far, to be honest. Or overall, actually, heading out of the car now, because obviously, we're here for the review, so blah. So, like I said before, not really, it wasn't anything bad, but just nothing really, no breaking or kind of thought-provoking into my mind personally, guys. So, blah. So, heading out of this, supposed matchup, or my supposed thoughts on this match, we had none other than Drew McIntyre taking on Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship. My prediction for this match was for Gunther to win this match, but could see McIntyre win it for quote-unquote reasons, and would be at least a bit happy to see Drew get it, despite it costing history being made with Gunther, to be honest. But surely not, that history is going to obviously continue actually being legit to actually come true, in fact, because Gunther did in fact retain his title here at SummerSlam as he won this match. So this makes my prediction score a 3-1 score so far. And my thoughts on this match definitely was all that we could have and thought and asked for, to be honest. But it did leave me questioning, though. questioning if I was the only one who thought that this match kind of made Gunther, for the most of it, look inferior to McIntyre, as he was all over Gunther in this match in a 70 to 30 split, I'd say, in terms of who truly wanted to come out of this match the winner, to be honest. Because it just seemed like, like Drew just kept coming right back from whatever Gunther had thrown at him, with no slowing down in him in the slightest, to be honest. Not something you'd want us to think about, not something you want us to think of as your overruling champion like Gunther, to say the least. But in the end, he still managed to get the win over McIntyre anyhow, so all is fair in all regards, I suppose. Overall, match of delightful match to see, and definitely could see them go again very soon if the cards align for us to see it happen, to be honest, guys. So, after kind of me stumbling over my words in the end of my thoughts on that match, we go to none other than Seth Rollins taking on Finn Balor for the World Heavyweight Championship. My first match was for Rollins to win this match, though could very well see Balor win it to possibly lead to a cash-in by Priest, to truly see where that ends up going in terms of the Judgment Day, though doubt it since it was already narratively told in the storyline hanging into this match, so blah. In either case, Rollins did in fact came out with the win and retained his title in this match without any cash-in going in, so with this said, we are going to go on with my score, which was none other, obviously, enough to 4-1 heading out of this match, as we roll on into my thoughts, as they were, and I quote, "This match, by the end, only had one main goal in mind: to prove everyone who was critical over their Money in the Bank match wrong, as this match most certainly was it and then some. Truly brought all of the pressure and false finishes that could have ended for either man, to be honest, and not only seemed to give Rollins a much hard-fought victory over Finn, with the Judgment Day attempting to come in once again with the assist for Balor, but also possibly adds much more drama to be dug within the group, with Finn pretty much outright feeling screwed over by the group's antics for a second time for him to fail in capturing the title. Granted, yeah, the ending pin kind of was rather a slap a quick into this match sort of a deal. Before the match we had along the way, I'd say it's passable, and to say the least in my eyes personally, guys. So blah. Moving on from that, we had the Triple Threat Women's Championship matchup for the WWE Women's Championship. So blah, which was between, obviously enough, champion Asuka taking on the likes of Bianca Belair and Charlotte Flair. My first match was for Bianca Belair to win this match, but could definitely see any of the other two win it for sure. But we definitely seen a new champion. Firstly, I say firstly because Bianca Belair did in fact win this match, but I stress saying that then we had a new champion before Io Sky successfully cashed in and become the new Women's Champion, to say the least. So therefore, we had a new champion heading out of this match. So as I said, my prediction score heading out of this match with Bianca Belair for sure getting the win, which none other than 5-1. And my thoughts on this match after all that mumbo-jumbo-ness of actually going from an actual triple threat match to a successful cash-in, we had my thoughts once again, which was this. In terms of the match itself, started out rather slow, but eventually did pick up in pace and truly was an entertaining one to watch. Each of the three seemed to be equally shared the ring together here, and while I did notice a few gripes here and there in terms of Asuka doing some rather questionable things, the mid to end point of the match is where the true eye-catching ride of momentum came to be, as Belair seemed to be on her way onto the IL, which is obviously a translation to freaking injury list, for you guys who don't have any clue what that means for IL. Baseball terms, guys. Baseball terms. Blah. Or rather, sports terms. Blah. Anywho's, from some spots to the knee, and that one spot Flair did throwing her off the top turnbuckle to let her crash onto the steel steps on the way down in some fashion. Only for us to truly see if she'd be able to power through it all to become champ despite all odds against her. in which she did before the inevitable happened once again with Sky cashing in. Granted, this all could have been planned from the get-go, and Belair is alright, all things considered. But what if, though, guys? What if, in theory, this was some sort of an audible being done in spite of Belair still wanting to at least give the win here as planned before she got supposedly hurt in the match? If that was the case, it could also be brought up and questioned by some that it could have been called an audible and that Asuka or Flair could have took the match from there on their own without the need of a cash-in. But to that, I would have to say that in some sense, I'd agree to that. If creative didn't think of this being the right option instead, let me rephrase this. Obviously, I would agree to that thought process. Obviously, having Asuka and Charlotte Flair go on, having, their own match without freaking Belair and having no cash in, just, say, oh, there's going to be new champ, and, oh, well, have freaking Flair win the match if they're supposedly still new champion, to say at least. Or if they wanted to have Asuka to retain the championship and maybe lose it the following on a Raw or whatever you want to do. But still, obviously enough, but when it comes to creative, when it came to creatively speaking, when it came to obviously the cash in, I would have to say that in some sense, I obviously would once again to agree with all the argument between Charlotte and Flair carrying the match on their own, but that is if creative didn't think of this being the right time and an opportunity to do it, instead to kill two birds with one stone in getting the cash in done and over with, and to do so at a perfect time if Belair was in fact injured here, and that she again wanted to let the show go on, so to speak, since the match was almost close to the being done to begin with, and that she didn't want to ruin what was already planned in this match's end result. Also worth mentioning that I'm including the cash-in as part of my score in this segment of the show, since this was a replay viewing for myself, and kind of knew this cash-in was coming, to be honest, but didn't exactly knew the context of it all. So while the surprise wasn't actually fully there for me with the cash-in in all terms, the thoughts I'm sharing here with you all right now are genuine for sure, obviously enough. And with that, this match again was one that, while slow at its start, came around to a decent close to say the least, despite it being a rather missing one at that. Again, either because of it being an audible or just meant to simply be that way overall as planned, to be honest. Now, to actually see how much of a legit champion Sky will be in terms of how creative will treat her run, because while lots of folks seem to have assumed the worst for her in her cash-in here, I'm glad she at least was able to get the cash-in win, and that she truly deserves a rightful run with the title, at least for a bit of time, after seeing what she got up, seeing what she's got up her sleeve in terms of her backlash match against Belair a few months ago, to be funnily enough, to obviously being the one to legit, funnily enough, to take freaking Belair out, funnily enough, going back on her match against her at Backlash, funnily enough. So it all came full circle at the end of the day for her cashing in to become champion once and for all with her cash in. So, huzzah. So, moving on from that lengthy discussion I had over this Triple Threat match, we move on to our main event, which was Roman Reigns taking on Jey Uso in tribal combat, in that sort of stable for the WWE Universal Championship. Blah. All that jumble of words obviously put aside, my prediction for this match was for Reigns to win this match, and it became true as Roman Reigns did in fact beat Jey Uso in tribal combat to overall retain his Universal Championship, of course, obviously enough, because no shit. And obviously enough, my score after this match came to be 6 wins and 1 loss, as we move on to my thoughts, which was, and I quote, just as it was with the last match with the women, this match seemed to have a rather slow and methodical start to it before it got its wheels into a bit of gear, when most of the true stuff started to go down just before Jey and Roman went out into the crowd and Solo came into the fray from there. I would be remiss if I didn't point out the elephant in the room with Jimmy's turn on Jey, obviously enough. But once again, just like Io's cash-in, the turn was yet another thing that got spoiled for me by me catching the glimpses of a thumbnail and a title of some sort of a video of my subscriptions, as I was trying to avoid any and everything in terms of the show before watching it on my own time, since I was unable to catch the live feed, obviously, guys. And knowing and pondering on the why factor of it all before even watching all the uproar that led to it, I can at least attest to still rather questioning why he did it, as much as we all are doing so far, to be fair, to be honest, guys, at the moment. But it's most likely a jealousy thing between bros. That's about it for the most part, to put it simply, that I can really think of heading, obviously enough, before we get legitimate answers from Jimmy to Jay, obviously enough, on SmackDown, more or less. Because we obviously didn't see it on Raw, obviously enough, so obviously, because no shit, the bloodline stuff seems to be obviously a SmackDown inclusive thing, because once again, supposedly a brand split, but yet again, you got LA Knight on Raw, blah, once again, argument can be made, what the fuck's a brand split when you have, freaking SmackDown superstar, aka LA Knight on Raw, chewing his freaking gums towards Miz, but that is WWE stupidity, but again, that's them. That's off topic. We're talking right now. So yeah. So obviously, we can see obviously that go down on SmackDown. So blah. But here's the thing, though, guys. It's got to be something Jay wanted to do on his own merits and not having to do anything with Roman or Solo. Because if not, and if it's some way of turning him back into the group once more to leave Jay all alone, that's where some issues are going to start to rear its head. And we all know damn well that should not be the case in terms of the Bloodline storyline, as it's always been treated and ran with and by people with respect for the business and great and long-term storytelling. So just to pull that right out of nowhere and from beneath us, out of nowhere, would be the lowest of the low to treat us all as fools overall, to say the least, guys. But most likely will just be something to steer Jimmy and Jay away from the Bloodline storyline and on their own thing, while Roman goes and does his own thing as well, even either with or without Solo, since there might be some tension and beef stirring between those two as well, to be honest. In either case, though, the story we're needing to be on track is that the Bloodline's downfall now that needs to be, in fact, factual, as we've already been through its highs. It's now time to see its lows, and I'm curiously eager to see and find out just what's about to happen next out of this all, for sure, to close out my thoughts here simply enough out of this match, because obviously once and for all, this was another freaking lengthy process on my thoughts, so blah. So, once and for all, closing out my thoughts on that, we now give you guys my total score out of the show, which was none other than 6 wins and 1 loss out of the show, which leads now to my overall thoughts on the show, which was, to me, the show overall seemed to be a pretty decent one to watch. All the matches surely had my attention and interest at heart all the way through them, even though some of them did in fact have their gripes and nitpicks that could be pointed out for sure. Main things to obviously take away from this show were Io Sky's cash in and Jimmy's turn on Jade to see where the future takes both of these events moving forward. But other than that, most of the other matches on the card seemed to fulfill their purpose just fine for what they were offering. And some could in fact be building onto future matches to come as well, to say the least. Overall, though, show was definitely a good one for sure, but still could have been a bit better and more in my eyes personally, in all honesty, overall, guys. As this finally, all this said and done, has concluded my WWE Summerslam 2023 review. I hope you guys enjoy it for what it was worth, despite the kind of stumbling over my words here and there, kind of getting my lengthy, thought process on this match, because obviously, once again, they're rather lengthy, guys, especially when it came to the likes of Brock Lesnar and, when it came to Brock and Cody, the women's especially, God forbid, the freaking women's match. That was a long, gosh darn note in of itself right there. And sort of the Roman and Jay match. All those 3 matches essentially had a lot of freaking paperwork, essentially, or note work to actually be, spit it out on the mic here well enough for you guys on my review. And I hope you guys enjoy my lengthy and overall process of giving you guys my thoughts here on the show once and for all, as we're going to close this video off in style, to say the least, here in terms of the actual pay-per-view that we are here covering once and for all. Huzzah. So, guys, once again, I thank y'all for watching this review, and hope you guys actually enjoyed for SummerSlam for what was worth person to you guys personally. And I'm actually going to, speaking about elephants in the room, I am here to address that right here, right now. Obviously enough, just a year ago's time, I addressed to myself, I made an update video, which you can see in the upper right corner right now, to actually say that there may or may not potentially be something going on with this channel around this time of the year. And I'm going to say this right here, right now, that, unfortunately, guys, is going to happen. So, if you guys do want to know what I mean heading into my supposed next update video, which I will make after this review is said and done, or pretty soon within the next upcoming weeks, after this review is posted, I highly and I strongly and I would lovely to you suggest checking out that first update video I once again posted just recently, just above. You saw the iCard just recently, just obviously beforehand, to see what I said in that update video before you actually check out my next video to come on the channel rather soon enough. Because obviously enough, once again, it's sadly going to happen, and I'm just going to say right here, right now, I once again hated for this to happen, but it's what's going to happen. And overall, guys, once again, it's not just me, it's just not a decision that it's a decision I do not want to make personally, but I just have to make it. I'm gonna have to put my foot down and say this right now. I wanted to make this decision personally out of spite for the betterment of myself, and but not only because of the betterment of myself, but the betterment of the channel overall. Because if I'm not happy, surely your guys are not going to be happy watching my videos. So once again, guys, to simply put it bluntly, if you did not, or you don't know what I'm talking about in the update video, and you strongly just want to get right to the point, obviously enough, I'm not happy with myself when making these videos, whether it's myself or whether it's the content being addressed and actually put out by WWE themselves, for me to actually come out here and legit make my content for you guys. So if they're not turning out good content, I'm not going to be happy, and when in that turn, you're not going to be happy with the product. You're not going to be happy watching my content, knowing that fact. So that's point A. Point B is simply enough me personally going through life and struggles with depression and just anxiety and just being overworked, burnt out, no matter if it's personally with work, my personal life's work, or just working on this video. So legit grinding and legit getting it out to you guys for a product, once again, going back to point A, that is just better serving than not to my liking, and just kind of just not my personal flair and not my, personal interest, so to speak, to you guys. So once again, guys, I once again am going to be making my upcoming update video to essentially kind of, announce a hiatus. So pointedly, bluntly, I will make that update video and slightly go into slightly more in depth. Once again, repeat, slightly address more details then in my update video coming soon, and to kind of essentially close the door on the channel for a bit of time. That will come then, with the way I will address myself then. But I just want to once again close out this video saying that is in fact going to happen, and I am sadly not going to say it. But once again, there is a silver lining, though, guys. There is a silver lining that will come in time, because once again, when it comes to me doing this, once again, it's going to be for the betterment of the channel, and I do know why, and I do know how I'm going to actually, and I know, how this is going to be the betterment of the channel. Because once you see, once again, and I will kind of say this once again in my update video, once you do see me come back along the ways, you're going to be pleasantly surprised, and happy to see myself come back in the full swing, happy and kind of enjoying myself in the process of doing so. So, but once again, guys, I will once again further go into more context and more explanation then. I just once again I want to stress it right here, right now, that this update video will be coming out soon as possible. So keep your eyes out on your subscription feed to see that video coming soon. And once again, guys, once and for all, to come back to context here within the confines of this actual review for now, as you see right here, for actually being, SummerSlam 2023 review. I once again hope you guys enjoyed the review I gave for you here, then, and there. And I also hope you guys enjoyed the view and enjoy the show once and for all for yourself. Because obviously enough, once again, while I had its few nitpicks, I personally enjoyed it myself. So with this said and done, ladies and gentlemen, I once again thank you all for watching this review. And I shall see you guys next time for my upcoming channel update video that's going to be posted relatively soon. Well enough, guys. So with this said and done, ladies and gentlemen, once again, I thank you all for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys then. Peace out, guys.